If you expect me to pay my own way on a date, you need to tell me ahead of time and the price of the date too. If you expect me to pay my own way on a date, you need to tell me ahead of time and the price of the date too. This is by, what a name, Cherryberries. I'm going to read the explanation, the elaboration, but welcome to the English Language Learning Podcast. Today is the 22nd of March, 2023. We have an opinion to review, and we will break down, we will review the English like we always do. And then finally, at the end, we'll talk about the themes, the topic, and I will give you my thoughts, os meus pensamentos no fim. E perguntas em português também. Before we start, again, a reminder, uma lembrança, que a pretensão, the intention of the podcast is for you to have more exposure, mais exposição ao inglês falado, né? Porque quando as pessoas estão estudando ou lendo inglês, né, é bem diferente do que você assiste no TV ou quando você está saindo com um amigo que fala inglês ou quando você está viajando e está ouvindo inglês, right? It's different. It's different when people speak and when people are reading, or when you're having, if you're watching an English video on YouTube, or you're watching a CD from an English book, is different. It's a bit different. So, again, the headline. If you expect me to pay my own way on a date, you need to tell me ahead of time and the price of the date too. You can find the link here for what I am going to read in the description section on the YouTube channel for each video. Você pode encontrar o link na descrição do canal do YouTube para todos os vídeos. Here we go. When I was a broke college student, there was so many times where guys have asked to take me out somewhere relatively expensive, then asked to split the bill. It wasn't like the date went badly because they asked to see me again. So it wasn't a bad date. I feel like if you invite someone on a date, you are responsible for either taking care of everything, including the bill, or at the very least, letting them know that they are expected to split the bill and the expected cost of doing so. I'm happy to split the bill, of course, and able to if I don't see myself going out again with the person. And I'm happy to discuss cheaper date ideas or splitting ahead of time. But being asked to split on the spot is really awkward, and I would be inclined not to see the person again. So that is the opinion. I will not read it again. It's a bit too long. You can go back and listen again and again and again. De volta, if you want. But that is it. Coming up in the next segment, we will break down and review the English, all things English in the next segment. If you expect me to pay my own way on a date, you need to tell me ahead of time and the price of the date too. That was our headline. That was our opinion. Now we will review the English. So let's start with the title, with the headline. If you expect me to pay my own way on a date. To pay your own way is to pay for yourself, to pay for your own stuff, your own meal, whatever. Para pagar para suas próprias coisas, comidas, qualquer coisa. So the first part of this, I think in Portuguese, se você espera que eu pague por mim mesmo, right? Then what? Se você esperasse que eu pague por mim mesmo, you need to tell me ahead of time. Ahead of time. Antes do tempo, antes do horário, antes do date, antes do nos saímos, right? You got to tell me before. Antes is the is really the point here. So ahead, one word, ahead, one word, ahead. Tell me ahead. That just means before. Before. Ahead means before. Um, to pay your own way ahead of time. To be broke. First sentence. When I was a broke college student, there were so many times where guys asked to take me out, and then they said, "Hey, why don't we split the bill?" Broke means sem dinheiro. Sem dinheiro. Sem dinheiro. Not enough money for something. It doesn't necessarily mean without any money, but it means I don't have a lot of money. I don't have money to spend on things other than basic stuff. Sometimes it might mean no money. But to split something, this is the same sentence, to split the bill. When I was a broke college student, there were so many times where guys have asked to take me out. It shouldn't say, let's do some grammar. Hold on. Wait a minute. Time out. To split something. We'll do that in a minute. When I was a broke college student, there were so many times where guys have asked to take me out somewhere relatively expensive, ask me to split the bill. So my doubt here now, I'm just noticing this now as I'm doing the episode in the moment. Na hora. Past simple, present perfect. When I was past simple, a broke college student, there were past simple so many times where guys have asked to take me out somewhere. I believe that is incorrect. I believe that this should be past simple. It should be consistent. But I could be wrong about that. And I think you could probably imagine this one way or the other. But I think this should be present simple. Past simple. When I was a broke college student, there were so many times where guys asked to take me out somewhere relatively expensive. Why? Because this is all started and finished in the past. And she's talking about a specific moment when she was in college. That was a specific time that had a beginning, middle, and end, and it's over. So, split the bill. Guys have asked to take me out somewhere relatively expensive and then asked to split the bill. Dividir. Dividir, divide. What we would say share or split, right? Split the bill. S-P-L-I-T. To split means to divide. Let someone know something. Let someone know something. If I feel like if you invite someone on a date, you are responsible for either taking care of everything, including the bill, or at the very least, letting them know that they are expected to split the bill. So to let someone know something is to tell them some specific information. Avisar alguém de algo. Give me a warning. Give me a heads up. It's a phrasal verb or phrasal noun. To give a heads up. A heads up. A warning. Avisar alguém de algo. On the spot. On the spot. This is, I think, the last sentence. Yes. But being asked to split the bill on the spot is really awkward or strange or abnormal. And I would be inclined to not see the person again. So on the spot means na hora. Without sem aviso. In the moment. Without warning. Without a heads up. Without letting someone know first. And awkward. I already said awkward is uncomfortable, incômodo, estranho, abnormal, incômodo. I said incômodo 3 times already. That is it. I have nothing more to offer you from the English. You can ask me questions if I missed something that's confusing you still. Please send me an email. I think my email is on the YouTube page. Or send me a comment. Anything, right? But that's it. Coming up next, questions and conversation about dating, about paying your own way, about expectations, esperanças. quando você vai sair com alguém, in the next segment. If you expect me to pay my own way on a date, you need to tell me ahead of time and the price of the date too. I should say that this is a. I don't know if it's a woman. I thought it was. It was a broke. They mentioned guys asking this person out, but there's no indication. There's no gender, right? It could be a guy with guys asking them out. I don't know. This could be a guy or a girl. We do not know the gender of this person. Cherryberries. You can find the link to the Leitura, to the reading in the description on YouTube. So, questions. The first question: have you ever asked someone on a date? Have you ever asked someone on a date? Yes or no? Um, I imagine, porque sim, porque no. I imagine if the answer is yes, then you, the answer is yes because you were interested. But what about no? Porque no? So if your answer is no, why? Why have you never asked someone on a date? That is kind of interesting to never go through that moment as a human to ask someone out. I think it's a very human experience. So if you've never asked someone out, why not? What's going on? Maybe it's a gender thing. Women tend to not ask men on dates. Men tend to feel pressure to ask someone on a date if they're interested in that person. I have asked people out on dates, yes. And have I been asked out on a date? Not that I can remember. I don't think so. On a dating app, sure, but that is a place for dating, so it's a little bit different. But in person, talking to someone and then them asking me out, I don't think so. I really don't think so. Don't think it's ever happened. Number two. Oh, let me ask this in Portuguese. Se você já alguma vez pedi para sair com alguém. Number two. When you have a date planned. Hey, you want to go out? Yeah, let's go out together. Okay. You want to meet here? Let's meet here. Okay. Date is planned. What assumptions do you make about paying for food? Actually, let's just do it in general. Well, maybe that's the next question. What assumptions do you make about paying for food specifically? If you're going on a date, this probably is different if you're a man or a woman. Maybe things are different now. When I was in high school, 15, 20 years, 15 years ago, yeah, things are a bit different. The man is supposed to, the boy, right, in high school, is supposed to, pay for the girl, or at least expect to be paying for the girl, or at least insist that you will pay. Um, so, what assumptions do you make about paying for food? Personally, me now, I am not dating. I am not in a relationship. I am kind of single and parenting. The parenting it has a dominating effect on your mental and physical energy and bandwidth. So, yeah, I am not dating right now. It just seems like an impossible thing to even think about doing with a 3-year-old daughter. But maybe that will evolve. But I think now, if I'm going to go on a date, I'll do this hypothetically. If I'm going on a date with someone and it's a first date, I expect to split the bill. Gender equality, baby. Split the bill. I don't expect to go to a fancy restaurant. I don't even expect to eat food. But if we're eating food, I expect to split the bill. And that's just how I feel now. I think there are reasons why it's fair to mention gender equality, igualdade dos gêneros. And I also think there are reasons why it's still unfair. Women have not been working, have not been permitted or allowed to be professionals and have jobs and get paid even the same as men for the same job. That's a new thing. That's not very old. Um, so maybe younger women today are entering the workforce and focusing on their professional life more and have more money at an earlier stage of their life. But traditionally, a woman might not have as much expendable income, renda que pode usar em coisas fora dos básicos, né? But also gender equality. If you're going on a date, there's no reason besides the traditional, conservative reason that women might not have jobs or have good jobs, have jobs that pay them enough. But if genders are equal socially, then I don't see why there should be an assumption that a man would pay. Number two, Portuguese. I'm sorry. Quando você tem date planejado, quando você tem plano para sair com alguém, os quais assunções você faz sobre quem vai pagar para comida? Ou geralmente, da comida mesmo. Você esperaria comer comida? Você esperaria sair sem comer comida? But what assumptions do you make about paying for food? Was the original question. Number three, what are your general expectations for a date? So not about food, not necessarily about paying, just in general, going on a date. What do you expect from a date? Not necessarily from the person, but just from the interactions, from the moment, from the activities. What do you expect to do? What do you expect to talk about, to not talk about? Where do you expect to go? How do you expect it to end? So again, what are your general expectations for a date? Let me plug in my computer here. Let me try this in Portuguese. O que são seus esperanças gerais? Hope, expectações. How do you say expectations? Expect. Esperar, né? Who's listening to me? Anyone there? Expect. Esperar, yeah, that's right. So, o que são suas esperanças gerais quando você vai sair com alguém? Da comida, de onde vocês vão sair, de como a noite vai terminar. So what are some of your general expectations? For me, they're very basic. I expect to talk and to listen. Period. That's it. Nothing else. I don't expect food. I don't expect someone to pay for me. I don't expect to do something crazy fun. Like this is wow, we're going to a special, very special place to see some special show, or no, I don't expect to be doing anything specific except speaking and listening. Period. Anything else? And I have fun, but I think that comes from the speaking. I like speaking and listening to people on dates because you hear, people are a little bit nervous, a little bit vulnerable. And you know, you might hear something that's kind of shocking. You might hear someone say something that's very interesting, very boring. So I don't even expect to have fun. You know, I expect to be a bit nervous, a little, maybe a little bit tense. Um, do I expect alcohol? I think honestly, yeah, I think I do. Personally, I don't expect my date to drink, but I expect to have a drink on a date. Why? Because it helps with the talking and the listening. Period. Okay, next. What did your parents tell you or teach you about dating? What did your parents tell you or teach you about dating? O que os seus pais te ensinaram de dating, de sair com alguém, desse processo de encontrar pessoa para sair, para ser encontrado, para sair e ou de, de sair, né? O ato de sair com alguém, o que seus pais te ensinarem. What did my parents teach me? Guys, a long time ago. It's hard to remember. We didn't. I never really had a conversation specifically about going on dates, right? But the first couple dates, you know, your parents drive you on the date because where I'm from, it's not Sao Paulo. You don't have a lot of things just outside your door. You can't just walk outside together to a bodega, which is a bar, restaurant, cafe. Anyone could go there, any age, and people do. Any age is a bodega is always full of different people. In the neighborhood where I was from in San Jose, you need a car to go places. You live in a residential neighborhood. You can't just walk. You can walk around the block, but when you're young, what do? You go to see a movie. You go, you know, you're not drinking coffee even, so you can't go have a coffee. You go have a. Yeah, I didn't drink soda, so I mean, you know, what options do you have for a date when you're 13, 14, 15? They're very limited. And so my parents didn't really tell me about dating because they're going on the date with you, not really sitting with you, but they're driving you, picking you up. But I do remember, you know, respect was something that was a word that I just remember flying around a lot. Um, I was taught to pay for a date, at least to offer, to insist to pay. So what were you taught about dating? What did your parents tell you about dating? Maybe you're a woman. Maybe your parents told you, you know, certain things about security. Um, Maybe they told you certain things about being careful. Maybe they told you something about, you know, how to have fun, how to relax on a date, what to talk about. My parents didn't. That wasn't not because they weren't interested. It's just we never really had that specific conversation about going on a date with someone. Not that I remember. Have you ever been surprised during the end of a date when it's time to pay the bill? So this is specifically about the story I read, a leitura no, na começa, né, do episódio. Se você não entende o que eu estou falando, você pode encontrar o link para a leitura na descrição no YouTube. But have you ever been surprised? The woman or the man, I don't know, in the story was surprised about, hey, they want me to split the bill. They didn't tell me about that when we planned the date, and we're at a nice restaurant and it's expensive. That's a surprise. I didn't expect to pay for this. Um, have I ever been surprised during the end of a date when it's time to pay the bill? Um, I think there was one time in Barcelona. Eu estava morando em Barcelona ensinando inglês para 2 anos. I think the first time someone asked to split the bill, and it was a girl, I was surprised. I was surprised. It was surprising. Not a bad surprise, but it was like you know, it was almost like did I do something wrong? I thought we were having a good time, you know. I thought, what did I do? Why do you want to pay? Are you paying me to like go away? Like, you know, I've never had a you know, subjectively from my angle, I've never had a real bad date before. So, you know, it was surprising that we're splitting the bill. Okay, my parents didn't teach me this, but yeah, this is I'm not with my parents, right? I'm 25 years old, and it's a different world than when I started dating. Certainly different than when my parents started dating. So um, when a young woman asked me or suggested to split the bill para dividir a conta, eu fiquei com surpresa. I was surprised. What about you? Se você já alguma vez foi com surpresa no fim da noite, quando estava na hora de pagar a conta. Have you ever been surprised about pagando a conta? Maybe you're a man. Maybe your date asked to pay for the whole bill. Maybe they asked to split. Maybe they asked to pay for a specific item and not another item. That would be surprising, yeah. Maybe you didn't pay, and maybe maybe your date wanted to leave the restaurant without paying. I don't know. What have you ever been surprised at the end of a date when the bill is coming? Maybe your date disappeared. It's gonna go to the bathroom. See you later. I'm out. Bye. But that is all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe. Inscreve. Comment. Like. Dislike. I'm trying to be more efficient with those mentions, right? Subscribe. Inscreve. Like. Dislikes are okay, but like. Comment. Engage. I hope you enjoyed the episode of If You Expect Me to Pay My Own Way, You Need to Tell Me Before, and the price.